I've had an ass full of Taylor Swift. And she's infiltrated football, and I think everybody should really kind of like take a long, hard look in the mirror and realize like what we're doing here. Yes. We've created this monster, and the more that everybody talks about it, the more it just keeps like perpetuating this whole problem. Like enough with it.
Let's stop. Okay, God, we'll stop. Let's not be part of the problem.
All right, we are back with season 3 of Real in the Field. And your eyes don't deceive you. This is a new studio, new set, new background. Real in the Field's got a new home base.
That's it.
We're moving on up. The sponsored checks have been clearing. And yeah, we're here. So we're at a new location. This is going to be our home base. We'll be recording out of here. It's official. We've got a good little spot here.
A little setup, some lights, some technology, it's dialed in.
We're moving on up. So I mean that's partially been the reason why we've been on a big hiatus. We've been away for a while. I know we've got people that are hitting us up asking for some new episodes.
Yeah.
Part 1 was getting a new studio, getting this all set up. Part 2, you got some stuff going on that kind of had
I'll go first. Well, we had football season.
Yeah.
I'm on football. We won a league title.
Yeah.
So back to back there. Early round, first round exit from the playoffs. So not happy with that, but
yeah.
So
you guys had a good season. You got a lot to hang your hat on. A lot of good stuff. A lot of positive stuff.
Yeah, and we got a lot of guys coming back.
Yeah.
So we got that going on. So that ended, and then we rolled into the holidays. And I was both being dads, so the holidays are always big. And but then the major thing I had shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
So I've been
cut that shoulder open.
Yeah. I should be in my sling, but I'm taking a break tonight.
Yeah.
But yeah, had major surgery, had a full replacement.
Yeah.
And so yeah, thanks to Dr. Roger Song.
Yeah.
And hooked this guy up. Got some metal in there. Got some titanium.
Full on replacement. Full on. Took that old beater out and
just swapped it. Yeah.
The new bottle, 2023.
Yeah. So I've been doing that. It's like 6 weeks or so since that. So just kind of easing my way into PT.
Yeah.
And so we had to take a break for that.
Yeah, that's
so that kind of pushed back the start date.
That's right. Yeah. It's a lot. That PT is you'll work through it and do some episodes now that you're doing PT,
yes.
but before.
Yeah, it was but it was good. I feel pretty good, and hopefully things will keep moving forward. So that's what I had going on.
Yeah.
What about you?
So for me, I was in the midst of buying a new house, renovating a new house, doing all sorts of remodeling, taking stuff down, pulling stuff out. It was a full, you and I both like with crowbars taking out some flooring.
Yes.
So that definitely took up a lot of the time. But I think it was great to buy a house and just kind of get that. We sold our house a while back, and we're just been steadily looking for a place. But it gives me an opportunity to talk about that and give listeners a little kind of peek into my new journey in buying a new house and then doing some of these remodels.
Like legitimately brand new.
Oh yeah.
So
paint's still drying.
Little bit every episode.
I think it'll be a good it'll be good just to kind of go through the film and break down what our experience was. Everyone's is a little bit different, but you can I think the listeners will take they can take something from that if they are similarly going to buy a house, do some remodeling, and want some of the pointers, some of the things that we ran into, some of the kind of the way that we navigated the whole process. So I think what we'll do is I'll parcel it out, kind of episode by episode. I'll give out kind of little chunks of the process, starting from purchase, putting together the offer, getting accepted, all that, and then move into some of the remodel that we did, flooring, things like that, and just kind of give some information on, just a lot of times, like, you just don't know where to start. You don't know what it's going to take. And, if I can kind of provide a little bit of insight there, I think it'll be beneficial to everybody. So we each had our reasons why we were MIA for a while. Thank you, everybody who's now listening and has kept with us. Yep. And we'll keep pumping them out now. Now that we got your shoulders good,
we got our feet on the ground.
We got our feet on our we're dialed in. We got a new studio. I mean, all of this has been kind of like crazy changes, but it's all for good. Yeah. So we'll keep moving forward and get some new episodes out. But now here we are. I mean, it's kind of kismety the way that this is all kind of timeline is laid out, starting back from our first episode forever ago. It was about the same timeline. We're in playoff football, which that's where we're in right now. We're fresh. We're recording.
Wildcard weekend.
Wildcard weekend is now officially behind us. And as you're listening to this, it'll be, about a week out from
days,
that. A couple days.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. First game, Browns and Texans.
Yeah.
And the Browns went out there and just
laid an egg.
Took a Brown. It was terrible. But we have to preface this.
Yeah.
So before the game started, I emailed you.
Oh man.
You emailed me, and we sent each other our picks without looking at the emails or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
We drafted them up. Okay. I went with the Texans.
Yeah.
I think CJ Stroud is pretty darn good. He had a really good season, rookie year.
Yeah.
He scored the worst on the cognitive test out of all the quarterbacks, the rookies.
Yeah.
But the dude can play.
Yeah,
and they were at home.
I mean, that's a big part of it. That's there's a home field advantage. It's a whole cliche saying for a reason because it's you got the crowd behind you. You got you're pumped up. You're playing at home. In hindsight, you can kind of say, he was playing. He's a baller and he's going to ball out. If it was the other way around, you would be saying, well, of course, it's the old-timey vet that's crafty and knows how to get things done. But, here we are. And
yes. Okay. But I'm going to say this. Joe Flacco was on the couch.
Yeah.
6 weeks ago or whatever, however many weeks it was.
Right.
There was a reason.
He was for sure. You're right.
Starter. He was, you know what I mean?
You're right.
He'd been out of the game for a while. So I just felt like it was a matter of time for it to catch up. For the old Sleepy Joe.
Yeah.
He did fall asleep on the sideline a couple weeks ago. So I was expecting that.
Yeah. I got caught up in the whole fanfare and wanting Cleveland. I root for the underdog. It's hard not to root for the underdog. And that city and that team has been the underdog forever. As long as I've been watching football, that team has just been always been the underdog.
Yeah.
And so there was that part of me that, wishful thinking and hoping that they would somehow pull it out and Sleepy Joe would, come out and slang it all over the field. But dude, youth got him and the youth got the upper hand.
Yeah.
And he just, completely just laid an egg, man. I mean, his stats are horrible. Is a
couple picks.
It's not good. Not good.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Miami.
Yeah.
Kansas City.
Dude, you're playing in that cold.
I was freezing. I was cold watching that.
Dude, watching Patrick Mahomes' helmet crack and just break off. Oh, good Lord.
But we both picked Kansas City, so it went pretty much how we expected.
Yeah.
Dolphins are not cold weather guys.
No.
I
mean, it's shown why Patrick Mahomes is at that, why he's just consistently considered one of the best, now. He just gets it done. He's a winner and gets it done one way or another. He figures out a way. That Dolphins team is just so potent. I know it's all in hindsight, right? But when you see just how good they're playing throughout the season, it's hard to doubt them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But then you just got the Kansas City who's been there, done it, and continue to do it even with all their receiving issues.
Yeah,
they're still doing it.
So not surprised there.
Yeah.
The game that shocked the world.
Yeah.
The Green Bay Packers.
Oh my God.
Going into Dallas and absolutely
manhandling,
dominating,
just tearing them apart.
put on a clinic.
Yeah.
Outcoached.
Yep.
Outplayed. Scheme-wise, effort-wise, physicality, you name it.
Everything.
It
seemed
an
like
absolute clinic.
Yeah. I mean, Dak was just not in sync with CeeDee Lamb, who they've been so simpatico, like, I mean, seemingly like every play.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't connect. It was just so bizarre.
They looked so bad.
Like,
they looked so bad.
It was sad to see. I mean, dude, that team is like, I mean, and for the fans too. I know a lot of people like are haters now on Cowboy fans. It's easy to hate on them when they've like choked so many times. I don't like get any like satisfaction out of like watching them choke. At this point, like you kind of feel it feels like there's just like they've got that like thing on their
dark cloud.
They got the cloud that's over them, and it's just
like the angels there.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Ohtani again.
But that was just an ass kick, and I feel like a lot of that was mental. But you're right; they just got out coached. They were just out of position every play.
Yeah, guys were wide open.
Yeah.
For Green Bay.
Yep.
Guys were jumping routes on Dak and just picking things up.
They just got bullied.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah,
they really did. I texted one of our listeners, one of our buddies.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh man, sorry about the Cowboys." And he's like, "I'm used to it. They're allergic to football in January." I was like, "That's a good line,
man."
Yeah.
It's so they are.
Is Mike McCarthy gonna get fired?
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm sure he is.
Okay, I feel bad for the guy.
Someone's got to be the scapegoat. I feel bad for the guy
a little bit.
Yeah,
because it's not like they've won games. They're winning double-digit games for the past 3 years. They just can't win in the playoffs. So is that a coaching thing or is that a quarterback thing? Because Dak,
I mean, either way, it always like the onus is on like the head coach. Like that's the ultimate like whose responsibility it is. No matter what, even if it is that your quarterback can't get you into the postseason, then do something about your quarterback. Look, I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about the Rams right now, but the Rams went out and did that exact thing. Like their quarterback got them into a Super Bowl. I think everybody kind of knew with Jared Goff that he wasn't like that kind of like that winning quarterback.
Or is he?
Right. But they went out and got themselves a quarterback that could and won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like if that's the case and Dak is your problem, the GM and the head coach have to kind of make a decision here and get a quarterback that is, that's going to win you some games in the postseason.
Is Jerry Jones in the way?
Oh, he's always been in the way. That guy's like, he's always been like the
Is he the dark cloud?
What other
the dark cloud?
I can't say 100%, but I'm sure it's part of it. How many owners do you know that take interviews after the game or take halftime interviews?
He's the only one.
That guy is just in the mix. He loves mixing it up. He loves being like the face of the franchise.
Is probably.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it stood in the way. I'm sure if you got the behind the scenes from that organization, a lot of people would tell you, he kind of runs the strings or pulls the strings, but I don't know. I guess to Kroenke's credit, he just gave Les Snead the keys and just said, "Here, you guys figure it out. Do what you guys do best," and got out of the way. Just let me know what check I need to cut.
But Jerry. I mean, they call the place Jerry's World.
Yeah.
And the dude is in the way, and he doesn't even know it.
Yeah. I mean, so if McCarthy is out,
who do you bring in? Don't even say Belichick.
Dude, Belichick is he's out of New England.
There's no way those two guys would get along.
Maybe that's what it takes. Maybe it takes a Belichick just to, give him the finger and say, no, we're doing this. If Jerry Jones is the problem, maybe Bill Belichick's the solution. I mean, something's going to be done, though. I don't think McCarthy keeps his job. It feels weird just kind of like, being flippant about someone's job and career. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he'll land on his feet and get another coaching job. But
he's got money.
Yeah, but it's that. I think that's just the nature of this business. There needs to be a scapegoat. There needs to be someone who is, the
reason why.
Yeah, the reason. And I can see McCarthy being the. I mean, if not him, then I don't know who. Like, do you get rid of Dak? You get somebody else? I'm sure there's a lot of people in Dallas that would want that. Yeah. He can win you games during the season, but postseason, he doesn't show up. What would you rather have?
Well, Tony Romo had that a little bit.
Yeah, it's true. Would you rather have a quarterback that gets you?
Okay, but what's the one consistent factor the entire time? Jerry Jones is there.
Yeah.
They've gone through multiple head coaches and they've gone through quarterbacks.
Yeah,
the one common denominator is the owner.
I mean, but he was also there when Troy Aikman was your quarterback, and
that was a special group.
Yeah, it was.
A special
I
group.
think it's looking as the years go on. It's more and more like special, and especially when you see around the league, like there ain't that kind of like dynamic with running back.
That was a
receiver,
different
quarterback,
time. Football
fullback
was different too.
Yeah. Daryl Johnson in there. Your fullback's a stud and superstar.
Yeah, it was just different.
Yeah, it's a different era.
Okay, let's move on. The Rams.
Yeah. Heartbreak,
and the Lions.
Man. Heartbreaker.
I went with the Lions.
Yeah.
You picked the Rams.
Of course. Of course. And I think for good reason. Like Rams have been on a tear. I mean, the only game that they, the most recent game that they lost against Baltimore, like that, Baltimore is arguably one of the best, if not the best team in the NFL, and they held their own, took it to overtime. There's a reason why a lot of people thought that game, why the Rams were going to win it. I mean, everybody was just kind of on their game. Defense is playing lights out. Offense is playing lights out. Puka Nacua is just balling out.
Gosh, he's so hard to tackle.
Dude, that guy I love watching that guy.
Crazy strong. So the game kind of turns into a shootout.
Yeah.
Right? Not a lot of punting going on.
No.
But, just
no
someone's going down
half.
And scoring where they're kicking field goal or they're scoring touchdowns. And they're going that little bit of that back and forth. And there was that a little bit of that lull where they both kind of are punting and kind of chest matching it up. At any point or at what point did you think like the Rams are going to pull it off?
I mean, it's hard to get a grasp of like the game because everything's just so fluid when you're in it, right? You got things moving, like you got, Rams are down by double digits, and then they bring it within 3. Then it's just it's all over.
Was that when it was?
I always had faith that they would. I kind of go through the ebbs and flow, right? One of them is the fear that think something's not going to happen, or they're not going to win, or they're not going to get that first down, they're not going to make that catch.
Okay.
But then you kind of have to remind yourself, that Matthew Stafford's under center, and that guy is he's a winner. He's a stud.
His arm angles,
yes,
no look passes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And so I kind of, I look at that when I have that kind of like the fear that it's not going to happen, I'm looking at it through the prism of me playing that position and doing it. And it seems like kind of impossible, right? Okay. But then I go, wait a minute, let's look at it through Matthew Stafford's, let's put it through that prism. Let's put it through Puka Nacua. Let's put it through, through Aaron Donald. Let's put it through Cooper Kupp. Let's put it through everybody. And it's like that kind of like that fear kind of goes away. It's like, of course they're going to do it. Like, dude, these guys are fucking studs, right? So the ebbs and flows are like that doubt of it happening, but then remembering like just how special this team is and how they've just been playing lights out. And so there's always that confidence. Even on that, on the last play, it was tough. Like, I mean, Puka got there was a little bit of a tug there. I'm always in favor of no call. I'm always in favor of just let him play.
There's a lot of that over this weekend.
Yeah,
a lot of it.
And I'm okay with that. I would prefer.
But that's what we can see instant replay, and the refs can't.
Right. And I much prefer a no call and just let those guys kind of like duke it out. Because there was plenty of no calls on each side. You know what I mean? And I don't like games being decided on like a penalty.
We've talked about
it's the worst way.
Remember
Baltimore? I think it was Kansas City, Baltimore, where
Humphrey got that like holding call,
right? Or it was like a late hit or something on Patrick Mahomes as he was running out of bounds, and then that 15-yard penalty put him in. Like it just gave him the first down.
That was the Bengals.
Oh, Bengals, right. So, but either way, I would prefer the game to be like, I don't like it to be called on a penalty.
Yeah.
So, he got a little tug or whatever. He couldn't get open, and the game's over at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a tough. Actually, it was before that because they ended up punting, which I thought if they get a couple first downs, which they have been, Jared Goff, to his credit, was playing pretty lights out. He was dialed in the first half. In the second half, he kind of just disappeared. But first half, he was making his, he was hitting his targets. He had a lot of time. And moment that the Rams start putting a little bit of pressure and getting in his face, that old Jared Goff started coming, almost turned it over on one play when he did that little fucking shot put.
He trespassed.
Yeah. I was like, there he is. So weird. There's the old Jared I know.
Okay, so there's a couple factors why I think the Rams lost. One, Cooper Kupp was a non-factor.
Yeah. One catch on a critical fourth down. He was clutch, but
non-factor. Everyone knew the ball was going to Puka.
Yeah.
That was it.
Except in the red zone where it's like that's their bread and butter, and you're just going to go to like Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. So I thought that was one part that they had no other real threat.
Yeah.
So that was one. Jared Goff played well.
Yeah.
I thought.
He played well. Yeah.
The Lions running backs I was super impressed with. But also, the whole way leading into that game, everyone's talking about Stafford going back.
Yeah.
Dude, what about Jared Goff, who the team that got rid of you is now coming to play you in the first play? I don't know. I felt like his storyline didn't get played up enough.
Oh yeah, he didn't get the respect for sure.
And so when he won and did it, I was happy for that guy. Yeah. And happy for their organization. I think Dan Campbell's a dude as a coach.
Yeah. It's hard not to be happy for an organization. Kind of going back to what I said before, I love the underdog story.
Yeah. Oh God, that place is.
Yeah, they're below the dog. They're below the underdog. But it still stings. It's my team, and I think that storyline. It was a great storyline. It was so kind of, not to get kind of out there with it, but it was like a poetic thing for how it all kind of came, how it all happened, how it all, the first playoff win in however many years, and it's from your, you beat your and to get to that point, in this season for the Rams, it was supposed to be the rebuild season. It was supposed, Rams weren't supposed to have this kind of success with the amount of the rookie class that they had, and dude, the rookie class is crazy good.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of positive things.
Stafford coming back?
I think he is, yeah. I think he still has time on his contract.
He's getting old.
But dude, the guy still balls. He's still
SOB.
Oh man. You see
his hand.
His eyes were rolling back. Dude, he did a forced quit on that thing. He restarted. He rebooted.
Yeah, man.
His eyes were checked out.
I was impressed for sure.
Yeah, he's a stud. But hey, listen, it's. I think of all the games, that was by far the most entertaining one. It was the closest one. Yes. Everything else was a blowout. It was a really weird weekend of games, including the last two that happened just a little while ago.
Let's talk about the last two. So. The Bills just beat the doo-doo out of the Steelers. That game looked really cold. I don't know what it is about those cold games.
Oh, yeah. It hurts watching it.
It hurts watching. Everyone's a step slow.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of I don't know. But the Bills looked good. Josh Allen looked good. I played in snow.
You played in snow. Terrible. It is I've maybe played in 40-degree weather at the worst.
So overrated.
And that's awful. I can't imagine playing in negative anything.
It is so overrated. Your feet hurt. Your hands hurt. It is terrible. Don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Dude, but the Bills, Josh Allen looked good. I have a bone to pick with Josh Allen, though.
Yeah.
Dude, he ran the ball for long run here, long run there, broke one for a touchdown.
Yeah.
The next one, he goes and he slides. Okay. The Steelers defender, I believe it was Miles Jack, tries to lit up, but kind of hits him.
Yeah.
And gets a flag.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Josh, are you gonna run us over?
Yeah.
And go score, or are you sliding? And we have to play this. What are we doing? Game.
Yeah. That's now a strategy.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Yeah. No. I think he's a running quarterback. I think I mean, if I would guess, he's probably playing that to his advantage and taking advantage of the fact that most people are going to know that he's coming in to, like Josh Allen doesn't let up. Like he usually will, bury his head.
And then the one time he does,
yeah,
he gets 15 yards. Like,
yeah,
I just don't.
I think that I would prefer that he just slid every time, because that dude, I love watching him play, and I just do not want to see him get hurt. I don't want to see him and we've talked about it before, like that guy's going to get hurt at some point the way that he runs. Like it's just a matter of time until he either gets his bell rung, or if he, something just where he's going to injure himself. So, dude, take the slide every time. And maybe the coaches are telling him, hey, you got to start doing this a little bit more because we need you to be healthy for, the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then I would prefer that, because, him burying his head every time he breaks one is it's a little scary.
So the Bills beat up on Steelers. Yeah. That was a no biggie. And then the last game, a little shocking.
I'd say it's very shocking in that if you were to tell me at
the Bucks destroyed Philadelphia.
It was Baker Mayfield was like he was playing back at Oklahoma. He's just slinging it all over the field. I mean, the whole Eagles season has just been like,
there's something going on.
There's something.
Remember last year when we were talking about the coaches, and the coaching carousel, and they lost both coordinators.
Yeah.
I think somewhere down the line, something caught up. The players looked exhausted and tired.
Yeah.
They'd lost, 6 of the last 7 or something odd like that. 5 of the last 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
And
they lost to the Cardinals. They lost to teams that they had no business losing to.
Just like they looked so drained over it.
Drained over it. I mean, out of position. You talk about like just being out coached. It just seems like they every play there. I mean, either someone got their playbook and just knew exactly where they were going to be and were able to stop it every single time, or I mean, I don't know what, man, because they were always out of position. They were always like the receivers always had
they were covered all night.
All night. Covered all night.
A.J. Brown being out did not help the situation at all.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But also on the defensive side, they couldn't stop anything. Like receivers are just getting
so bad.
They were covered up. The receivers were just wide open like every single play. But I don't know what the hell's going on with that team. They're gonna have to figure something out.
Yeah, I feel bad for Kelsey. I don't know. He seems like a good dude.
Yeah, I mean,
but part of the
takes you so far.
Part of the game, I guess. So let's look forward to Saturday and Sunday. You're gonna have two games, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. Texans, Ravens.
Oh, Ravens, yeah. Ravens, there's no way Texans are going to pull this off twice.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think they got enough juice to do it twice.
No,
I think they'll be in the game.
Yeah.
I think they'll keep it close.
Yeah.
And make the Ravens sweat it a little bit.
Yeah, but I think Lamar Jackson's just too – that's just – he'll find a way. I mean, that's one thing that –
playing in Baltimore.
Yeah, playing in Baltimore. There's no way. It might be a close game, and maybe C.J. Stroud does, put up some numbers, but I can't imagine he can take down the giant.
Agreed. Okay, Green Bay traveling to Frisco.
Dude, that I know they've been on a tear. It's like you can't look at the win-loss column and just kind of like do the math on that. You got to look at kind of how they've been playing recently.
Yeah.
And they've been playing really, really well. But
it's Jordan Love looked like, I hate saying the dude's name, he looked like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. He looked really, really good. Yeah. His throwing, like the way, it's bizarrely like similar. Yes. How his like releases, how his
like feet coming off the ground.
Yeah. And, like, throwing it off, when he's up in the air. I don't think that, I just can't imagine they take again, unless something happens like what happened last year with Purdy getting injured. I can't imagine they take down San Francisco. San Francisco's they're just solid, man. It pains me to say it, but they've just been they're not a mess around team. They're not a team that like mails it in. They're not a team like that who knows which team is going to show up. Dude, they show up, they play, they kick your ass, and they're move on.
So explosive on offense.
They are, seriously.
With Debo
Samuels, they got so many weapons that just from that, like, who do you stop there, So, I mean, short of them like doing something like monumental, like getting injured or something like that, I can't imagine.
Niners?
Yeah, I'd say Niners, unfortunately.
I'm taking the Niners too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tampa Bay
traveling to Detroit.
Yeah.
Can the Lions keep it going?
I think so. I think they got a lot of momentum. I think as well as like Tampa Bay has been playing, I don't know if it was an anomaly or if that's going to be like, typical of their game, but the Lions defense, I know their secondary gave up like some big plays, but they shut down Puka and they shut down Cooper Kupp when they needed to. I don't know if that's their strategy, just, and even on the plays that they gave up, they
didn't like bust them.
No, Puka like just gave him a little stick move, stutter step, and like ran it up the seam, and the corner bit hard on that. Maybe that's the strategy, but their corners, like they didn't they gave up a couple big plays, but they still stopped them when they needed to. And I know it's hard to say when Puka put up like 180 yards.
Okay, so take the Lions.
I think that the Lions D is their defensive line stacked. I think their secondary is that they could do some, like they can. That's the Achilles heel.
Okay,
if they don't like give up some big plays, I don't know, man. I think the Lions look really good. I think they can. I don't think Tampa Bay is going to beat them.
Okay.
How about you?
I agree. I'm going to go Lions. I wouldn't be shocked if Detroit blew their load and come out and lay an egg.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me. I've coached a long time.
Yeah.
Those emotional wins.
Yeah. That was huge.
Filling that emotional cup
to
get yourself ready to go for the next week is not easy.
That
as a player and as a coach, we've gone through it as players.
Oh yeah.
And as a coach, and to get your guys to practice hard and to just find it is hard. So
that is a good point.
I'm gonna take Detroit. Okay, but
with an asterisk.
With a little. Not shocked if Tampa Bay goes in and wins.
I could see that. For them, this is like, it's a win for them that they've gotten this far.
If the season ended, we've had one of the best seasons we've ever had. And
it's also Jared Goff. Jared Goff, there's a reason why.
You're such a hater on that guy.
It's not that because I have, and I think I've said it here before. Like, I've rooted for him. I want that's like the common theme right now is like one of the most even like trades that's ever taken place in the NFL. Like, all right, good for them. They got like themselves a quarterback that got them to the postseason. But one of the reasons why everybody was like okay seeing him go was he just doesn't win in big moments. He doesn't come through, like he gets rattled. That's always been the Jared Goff that we know. You know what I mean?
Well, now we'll get to see.
He had his one big moment last week. Maybe I'm with you now. Now I'm going to go with the Bucks. He's going to fold. He's going to fold.
Okay. Last one. Kansas City has to travel to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Which usually when this game takes place, this playoff, it's usually the Bills having to go to Kansas City.
Right.
And Josh Allen always gets close, but he never finishes it.
Right.
This time, he's got him at home.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes with half a helmet rolling in.
Half a helmet.
Who wins?
Dude, I would love them to be dethroned by Bills Mafia and Josh Allen get a win. I don't.
However,
I know it's still the Chiefs, and no matter how poorly they've played, look, they've got their Achilles heel is their receivers as well. Like everyone knows that they don't have They don't have clutch receivers. They have like that. That has lost them most of their games is drop passes.
You think Kelsey's distracted?
Oh, from Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
Dude, that's such a bizarre storyline, dude.
It's so terrible.
I am like, it's such a weird one. Like, I like Taylor Swift, and her music is like, it's good, and she always gets the nod for like writing her own stuff.
She's talented,
and she's super talented. She fills up stadiums, dude. She in her own right is like a stud, but I don't need that incorporated into football. Like that storyline being like, anytime you talk about like Chiefs football is so played out and so like
it's
lame.
All the time.
It's all the time. I don't want to hear about it. I've had an ass full of Taylor Swift and she's infiltrated football. And I think everybody should really kind of like take a long, hard look in the mirror and realize like what we're doing here. Yes. We've created this monster. And the more that everybody talks about it, the more it just keeps like perpetuating this whole problem. Like enough with it.
Let's stop. Okay, God, we'll stop. Let's not be part of the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So who wins? Sorry.
I mean, I'll go. You kind of have to go Kansas City. I think they'll just find a way to like pull it out. I want the Bills to win. I want the Bill. This
is the year.
I hope, man.
This is the year the Bills do it.
You think so?
They got a home game.
Yeah. They still got to go through.
Taylor Swift is a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany Mahomes, a distraction.
Yeah.
The Bills Mafia is going to show up. That place is going to be rocking.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is going to finally get over the hump and be a superstar. Like you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah. On the big stage.
I'm taking the Bills.
And
not only do I think they're gonna beat them, I think they're gonna beat them up.
You think so?
I do.
Think it's gonna be a blowout?
Not a blowout, but it's gonna be a
physical tough game.
Like they handled them, and I think they're gonna. I think the Bills are gonna do it.
Wow.
I like Dalton Kincaid. I like Knox. I think Stephon Diggs. We've talked about him before with Josh Allen. I don't know. I think they can do it.
Dang. All right.
Yeah.
Well, they still got to go through Baltimore or Houston, but I think we know it's going to be Baltimore.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Yeah.
1 week at a time.
Dude, 1 week. Yeah. Let's not fast forward. Let's look this week coming up.
Yeah. Good games. Excited. But
yeah. Good stuff coming up. All right. Well, dude, it feels good just to be back and talk football, talk about what we got going on and all that. So this is it's good to be back in here.
Yeah, let's take a break.
We'll take a break. We've got some new sponsors that you'll hear, some new guys coming in, we'll take a break. We'll come back, talk some more. All right, this episode is brought to you by Pro West Electrical. Pro West Electrical is owned by our friend who we went to high school with, Anthony Sabasco. He's got over 15 years of electrical experience. His company does panel replacement, do recessed lighting. They actually did all the electrical and the recessed lighting in my house. They do switches, EV chargers, Ring doorbell. They'll change a light bulb in your house if you want them to, if you pay them to.
That's right. And you can visit their website, prowestelectrical.net, or you give them a call, 714-306-1570.
Pro West Electrical, powering up your world. All right, we are back. All right, so in the first segment of this episode, I mentioned that I bought a house, and I think it's a perfect opportunity just to kind of give our listeners a breakdown of how this process worked or went for me, and how maybe that'll help them kind of navigate some of that stuff. So, we can start at kind of like square one. We went out and we've been looking for a specific property, a specific house in mind. We wanted something that we could put some work into, get some sweat equity. We did that on our last house, did some stuff, and it paid dividends. So we thought we'd do the same thing this time around. But it took a while to find that right spot. There's a lot of houses that are in just complete disarray and need a lot of work. And it was really hard to find one that was live-in, move-in ready, but also was outdated enough to where we can do the work and really have it pay dividends.
Yeah. You didn't want to be house broke.
Yeah, you don't want to be house broke. You don't want to just like pay through the nose through something that's already done. Typically if someone's done the work, you're not just paying for, cost of materials and labor, like you're paying a premium to get flooring done or like a kitchen done.
Yeah.
And we didn't want that. We wanted to get and do, our own, do it to our own style. So we found one in Orange. It was the perfect place. It's exactly what we were looking for. One of the things that I look for is some of the things that are already in the property that you don't have to do. Now, this particular one had a new air conditioning system that was installed. That's a huge burden that I don't have to now bear because it's already done. Doing that work.
Central air is huge.
Central air is huge. And a lot of these houses that are a little bit older in Orange don't have central air.
I used to live in one.
Yeah. And so having that done, it was, something that we didn't have to worry about. It's a fairly new system, which is really nice. It had an upgraded electrical panel, a 200 amp panel, which again, it's something that costs, like if you were to redo that yourself, it costs money, and having that already done, it was like, that's already taken care of and I don't have to worry about that. So two really big things from the start that were already just, pluses for me. There was original hardwood floor in the bedrooms that just needed to be sanded and, stained and
touched up.
You were there with me doing it. And then, the whole space itself was spacious. It was a huge lot. It was a 7,500 square foot lot, which in Orange is, really big.
And your backyard is huge.
It's massive. Yeah. And so for me, I try and buy as much property as I can, because, you can always add on to the house. You can always add on to your square footage. Sure, it costs some money, but it's possible. But you can never add on to your property line. That's just not something that's really feasible once property lines are already, laid out as they are. So we found that spot. It was the perfect place for us. We put in our offer. Let
me ask you that. Okay, so you're putting in an offer.
Yeah.
So how do you know? Or what did you guys do? Like, do you go over like the asking price, maybe a little bit below, maybe get in a bidding war?
Yeah.
Like, what was the, strategy that you...
Yeah, it's a good question. There's a lot of different ways that you can go into a property, and it's every one of them is a little bit different depending on where the starting price was for that house. So if they went into it and priced it really low, there's a strong chance that a lot of the offers that are going to come in over that price. Yeah. And it's just a matter of figuring out, do you want to offer enough to where you are going to have to continue to bid with other people? Do you want to offer just something like really, high and above to win your, offer outright? But then there's also other things that kind of come into play, not just like price, but also what kind of contingencies are going to be put in place. We've talked about it before, inspection, things like that. If we were to put in the same exact offer number-wise, but I had no contingencies and yours had 3, our offers are not the same. Yours would be, it would just look different if there's no contingencies compared to one.
And that could be the difference of like thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, you could, for us and what we did, we just came in right at asking price. We thought it was pretty fair considering, where some of the other prices were for property sizes that similar.
Do you know what other people are offering?
No, everybody plays it really close to the vest.
Okay.
Yeah, because if we were to just be so transparent and say, here's the offer that we have, it would be, it's not really advantageous to the listing agent to just kind of show his cards. He kind of wants to act as if, just to kind of play the scenario out like on an extreme. If he has an offer at the property is listed at $1 million. He has an offer at 900,000, and somebody else is saying like, hey, I want this house. What do I have to beat? If he goes, 900,000, then, I'll just go 925 and let's call it a day.
Okay.
But if he just kind of plays coy and says, hey, listen, we've got a really good offer. I can't tell you where it's at, but I can tell you that, a full asking price offer will get you the property, or a little over asking would get you the property, something like that.
Yeah.
You're not exactly saying what your offer is, but if you're alluding to it, which every situation is a little bit different, but that's kind of like, you don't really want to like show your hand completely.
Okay.
Having said all that, there is you kind of have your finger on the pulse of what houses are selling for. Now, you never know what someone's willing to pay for a house. You can go in there and you could be like, let's say you started searching for your house a year ago and you've gotten so tired of searching. This one checks all the boxes. It's the one for you. You might just go all in. If this is listed at $1 million, maybe you go 1.1 and just say, hey, I'm all in on this and I'm not losing it. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit like market value is a little bit different than just straight like, what the other like properties have sold for. Having said that, we just went in at asking price. It's a little bit of like talking to the listing agent, getting like kind of assuring him that when he's going to enter into contract with me or us, that he's, we're going to see this through, and give him all the confidence. And
sure.
You tell him a little bit about yourself. You give them like all the reasons to like you, want to sell to you, and want to work with you. And that's kind of part of the kind of strategy in trying to get your offer accepted. We got our offer accepted. We opened up escrow at that point. You put in your earnest money deposit. We did 2%. I like to just do a 2% of the purchase price. It shows that, it's not the just typical 1.5%. You're putting a little bit more. No one's going to negotiate and trying to get you to come up from that. And that's all just to say, this is the money that we're going to put in there that's going to be the assurance that you need that we're going to see this through. Because that deposit, if we don't live up to our end of the deal, that money can be gone. We did a 2% down, 2% earnest money deposit down, which is different than the down payment.
Yeah.
And then started doing our due diligence. We did an inspection. We, did a pretty thorough, the inspector that I use is really thorough and really gets into all the, nooks and crannies and finds out what's going on with the property and if there's something that needs to be addressed. And he found out there was something in the roof that needed to be addressed. And so found out how much it would cost to do the thing that was pointed out, and, asked for the credit for the work. You can negotiate it. You can go one of two ways. You can negotiate it and just say, this needs to be addressed. You go ahead and do the work yourself. Or you just ask for the credit and say, this is how much it costs.
So why did you go with a credit and not have them do it?
Yeah, for me, and the way that I prefer to do it is, if we were to just say, hey, this is the work that needs to be done, and we need this to be done before closing, one, it could hold up escrow. You could have a someone who's going to fix that problem. They could have a busy schedule, and they can't get around to it for 1 or 2 weeks. And in that time, everything's just kind of held up until this thing gets taken care of, right? So you can ask for that to be done, but there's a good chance that it could just kind of slow the whole process down. Yeah. Secondly, if I am the seller and someone's asking to have this work get done, there's no reason for the seller to find the best possible plumber, electrician, X, Y, or Z, whatever it is, and pay top dollar to get it done the way that, the owner would want that work to be done. The owner is wanting to check this off the list and just get it done. Now that can kind of lead to the work being done not properly.
It could half-assed work.
Yeah, it's just inherent, like in that situation, like there's no incentive for the seller to find the best person to do it. In fact, it's the opposite. I want to save as much money as I can and find some Joe Schmo who's going to do it for a nickel.
Yeah.
So just based on that inherent situation it's not good for the buyer to request the work to be done. It's just, there's never a scenario where it's going to, it's going to be beneficial. Now, there are times where, it's just easier to have, it's easier to have the work get done, or there's a buyer that wants the work to be done. He doesn't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
Something like, let's say there's a water heater that needs to be replaced. Well, I don't want to have to deal with, dealing with the plumber to come out, change it. And then if it doesn't work or there's a bigger problem that's hidden underneath that, I don't want to have to be surprised with that later on. Let's just get you to do the work. And if there is a bigger problem, then you can fix it, because my request is to have that completely done.
So the roof thing, you're pretty confident that you could get it done.
Yeah, I had a good, actually Executive Construction, our sponsor from last season, Brett, came out, and his guys, not only were they confident that they can do it, they did it and they knocked it out, and got that all taken care of. So it's all squared away in that regard. I did that after the fact. I asked for the credit. Now, that process of asking for a credit, you don't have to, as a seller, you don't have to issue any kind of credit. You don't have to, I could ask for, $10,000, $5,000, $100, and there's no obligation to the seller that they have to do that. It's kind of in good practice for everybody just to do things to kind of move the whole thing along. Okay. What we asked for wasn't an obscene amount of money. It was there was some other things that were noted in the inspection that were kind of minimal, that me as a handyman kind of could take care of it in a weekend.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything that would that was difficult to do. And so for those things, I didn't ask for the credit. For the bigger item, I said, this is going to take some construction work, or my contractor to do this, and this is what it's going to cost. And to the seller's credit, they were really, they were happy to just kind of appease everybody and push the deal forward and make things easy for everyone. And they agreed, which was really, it was great. I mean, everybody walks away feeling like, okay, this wasn't too bad. I got what I wanted. The sellers got what they wanted. Everybody walks away kind of happy. Yeah. So at that point, once the inspection was done, we figured out the costs and credit and what that was going to be. We get that issued to us in the form of a document that says this is how much you're getting. And at that point, we removed our inspection contingency, which until that gets handled, you don't remove that contingency. It stays in place. Everything got settled. We all agreed. The inspection contingency was removed. Loan contingency was removed. Appraisal was removed. Everything was moving forward. We put in the rest of the money that we were obligated to put in for contractually.
Yeah.
And that was it. We recorded title, and the house is ours. And then it was ours to do, whatever things that we wanted to do with, which that part of it is, we'll talk more about that part of it. There was a lot of just, things that we did to make it our own, not things that were out of the realm of possibility for anybody who, buys a house can approach. They're relatively easy if you kind of know what you're getting yourself into. And that's going to be another part of it that we'll discuss in some later episodes and get into some of those specifics of what was done. And you can speak to it too, because you were there.
Are we going to tell the stories of how we cut our hands tearing up your bathroom floor?
Yeah. We'll go through it all. And now you've got firsthand experience of doing some of that work and seeing, kind of how everything kind of came out afterwards. So
for sure.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Yeah.
It was awesome.
But in the meantime, we'll get to those episodes later. In the meantime, it's just good to be back. Good to be back and get back into the swing of things. Studio's awesome. Feels good to be in our legit spot, our home base.
I know. We don't have to tear everything down.
Oh, dude, all this is gonna stay as it is. The microphone stand's gonna stay where it's at.
Yes.
for the next episode. But yeah, thank you guys, everybody who came back and is back on board with us. We'll keep putting out more episodes. Thanks for sticking with us through the hiatus. I know it was kind of a long time, but we're back and we'll keep pumping them out. So yeah,
sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back with another episode of Real in the Field. And yeah, until then.